All right, folks, welcome to Extra Innings. I'm your host, Tim Black, and this is Mrs. Black. Hey.
Yes, this is Black. I'm here. Hello.
Look at the camera.
Hello. I'm looking at the camera.
Yeah, you've been mostly doing it.
Yes, but this is audio, right?
No, this is video. This is video.
I didn't know you were doing video.
I do video for all the Extra Innings because people want to see you. They want to see me too, some of them. Look, some of them want to see me.
It's just I don't see anything here.
It's not streaming.
Yeah.
It's recording.
It's recording. Okay.
Yeah, I record it, but I don't stream it.
Okay, so I just can't see me.
You can when you come over here because I'm going to have to share. Now, this story, you're gonna have to come over here in a minute because there's a guy, right? And I'm going to put the clip into the video. It was a black guy who was fishing. Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You guys residents here?
Are we bothering anyone? Don't
I
touch
just
it.
have to,
Don't touch anything.
sorry? All right, well, this lake is presently for residents only. So, thank you for filming. I'm not giving you permission to film, so.
She's not.
Take a picture of your license plates and forward it on.
Hey, so y'all hear what I go through, right? This the third person. I'm in my own neighborhood, and a white person came and bothered me while I'm fishing.
So that brother there, he's on TikTok, and he has a series of videos capturing people harassing him while he fishes, right? And you can find him at Fishing Guy 2GA. At Fishing Guy 2GA. Go support that brother, man. I don't want to jack his content. Go see him. Follow him on TikTok. He's kept getting harassed by white people walking up saying, like, who are you? We doing in our pond. We don't like outsiders. And actually, I've had this experience. Who are you? Well, I live here. Would have known. I know everyone who comes here. You don't know me, and I live here. So he recorded it. And she just kept bugging him, and he was recording, and he was saying how how you're the third disrespectful white person who's come up here and harassed you while I'm trying to fish, asking me, do I live around here? And I say, I live around here. She's like, what's your address? He's like, what's your address? So they go back and forth. So that's the thing. We know what that is. That is white people not trusting when they see a black person that they don't know. And if a white person, we can only assume that if it was a white person, she would not have done the same thing. I think she would have not done the same thing because when he said, hey, I live here, she would probably believe that. But we really don't have a way to know. But it looks like she's a Karen, and I'm going to go with that. That's not even what I want to talk about, really. She's a Karen. Screw her. She's a jackass. We've seen a lot of this footage. We know what happens. I want to comment on the HodgeTwins because, for one, I don't think they're very talented. And I understand that that's subjective. There are probably people out there who agree with me and some who disagree with me. That's fine. Well, I take that back. They're talented at one thing. Cooning. Oh, man, there's some cooning. They're coontastic. They have amazing cooning skills. They are third-degree black belt cooners. They are ninja-level sellouts. And in this video where they covered this story, especially, I want to just show the clip. So, Mrs. Black, I'm gonna stop this, and we're gonna run the clip, and then you'll be able to see it. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I got a show for y'all. Got a damn good show.
Now, I don't think this country is systemically racist, but there's some racist people out there. Yeah, just because it's not systemically racist doesn't mean that there are people out there that treat certain groups of people differently from their own group.
Yeah. We all have our biases.
Yeah.
White people have their biases. But black people have their biases too. See, black people think they better than everybody. Think they perfect. It's because white people make mistakes. Only white people make mistakes. We make them all the time.
Yeah, so this is black.
Even more prevalent than white folks. That's why our prisons are filled with
what?
Spitting facts over here.
Hey, so this is black dude in Georgia, right? He out there fishing.
I wish I could meet this dude, man. Go out.
The HodgeTwins don't know anything, and they get an opportunity to talk to millions of people. And it's very frustrating that this is the type of shit This is the type of shit that gets play. It reaches hundreds and thousands of people, but the content I put out doesn't do as well because it's not stupid. It's not black people dumping on black people, making up the most racist comments about black people, the most sellout comments about black people. This is what their conservative viewers like. They enjoy this type of content, or they wouldn't watch them. They like it. I think maybe occasionally the HodgeTwins will have some horrible black viewers as well, who are just as self-hating as them. They started off, they said systemic racism doesn't exist, but there are racist people. First of all, I don't know how you can say systemic racism doesn't exist if you're a person that reads books, if you're a person that knows anything about the data. America's been too good at so many things that disenfranchise black people for you to say that. This is a country where it was illegal for us to vote. For what? Basically, they had serious impediments to voting all the way up to 1965. And if that doesn't show you systemic racism, what does? This is a country that didn't allow us to drink from the same water fountains or sit in the same places in restaurants, eat inside restaurants. We could perform on the stage for the delightment of white people, but then we had to leave out the back door and we couldn't watch the show, but we could perform in Coon. So, Mrs. Black, I mean, the systemic racism comment, and then they have such a horrible audience because this is why they're doing it, that they would have to say, well, we all have our biases. Just in case they got some racist white people watching who are friends of the show, who give to their program, who buy their merch, they don't want to disappoint them, don't want to disassociate themselves from those bigots. So they say, well, we all got our biases. Racism and bias are not the same thing. I'm biased against pig's feet, but I'm not trying to stop pig's feet from being eaten. You know what I'm saying? Racism and bias are not the same thing. You may have a bias towards not liking a program. I don't watch Bridgerton because I'm biased. I don't like period dramas as well as Mrs. Black does. But I'm doing a lot of talking. Mrs. Black, what was your take from what they were saying? Systemic racism, and then they said, we all have biases and black people think they're perfect. You heard it.
It's just, how do you, generalize a group of people? It doesn't make sense. They don't make sense. And I know in the heart of hearts that they know that they don't make sense. Being in this country and knowing America and the history of black and white people here, it's like they're trying to whitewash it or wash it away. It just doesn't make sense. It's really nonsensical of what they are thinking or what they're saying. And again, like you mentioned, it's to appease their audience. They have to stay relevant. They have to stay true to their base. Mm-hmm. And to be black men, because that's what I see them as, they've got that one drop there, to ridicule and demean, a culture that you're actually connected to. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's beyond any thought processing I could even imagine. So,
yeah, I just find it it's despicable, man. It's despicable what they do. And I want to say that they're just doing it for money. Maybe they are. Okay, I'm going to assume that, because you would have to be a complete idiot not to know anything about history and about what's going on in America right now. Black men are 2% of doctors and 2% of lawyers. Black women are 2% of doctors and lawyers and engineers. We get about 2% of venture capital support. Is that because black people have no ideas for apps? We had 2% of venture capital funding. That's not systemic. What is systemic to you? What does systemic mean to you? It means that there are systems in place that count us out, that disenfranchise us. Particularly, specifically, that's what it means. How can, the the most incarcerated people are black people. This guy says, well, black people think they're perfect, and black people, they act like they can't make mistakes. They don't make mistakes. Only white people make mistakes. Whoever said black people and white people don't make mistakes? All people make mistakes, dummy. Where's this line of talking coming from where someone's saying that black people say that they don't make mistakes? They might say that black people don't play with animals the way that white people play with animals. That's like a joke, dog. That's not real life. There have been black people bit by dogs. There's been a black person on the safari that should have stayed put. I just saw a video where an Asian woman got out of the car at the safari. That's not the point. The point is, you guys are sellouts and you know it. And it's intentional.
Yeah.
But for you to say something as stupid as black people go to jail more, that just goes to show how many mistakes we make. Yeah, we also get exonerated more too. Why? Because we wrongly get put in jail more. And if you're not smart enough to know the disparities in judgments, the disparities in juries when it comes to sentencing, the disparities in the way the death penalty is handed out, it's just, why are you talking about shit you don't know anything about? Why not just talk about weightlifting? Why not just talk about stories about being two steroid up, losing assholes who have been lucky enough to make a career doing nothing? Why not just talk about that? Why do you have to? Why do you have to try to be taken seriously when you're anything but serious? Why not just stick to being clowns? You are clowns. We both know you both are clowns. Why not just clown? I got no problem with somebody who wants to be a clown. Perfect. But then why do you have to inch your way into talks of like politics and race when you are liars and dumb? Either liars or dumb. Either coons or dumb. Very dumb. Ignorant. Imbeciles. Morons. Why do you have to do it? Last thing. I made a video about them. I put it on TikTok. It did pretty good numbers. But I only did it because I was exasperated because they have a 98% white audience. And they were sitting up here talking. They had a video of a black woman questioning a black man in the Congress. And she said, because he's a token, sort of like these two guys. That's the vibe I got from it, the energy I was getting from the video, is that he's like a token black, who's like a Republican token black guy, whatever. And she's like a older black woman who's, he was younger, she was older, and she was a Democrat, he's Republican. And she says like, do you refer to yourself as an African American? And he was like, no, I'm an American. And, that's been a conversation a lot of conservatives have been having with black people forever. I personally prefer to call myself a black American as opposed to African American. But hey, that's okay. I understand where she was going with that. He could have said black American. He said, no, I'm just an American. Just so like as if his blackness doesn't apply, even though he was walking down the street, they said it goes an N-word. Cosplay is an N-word. Number 2 male. They wouldn't say it goes an American, dumbass. They would say number 2 male. Black. Because that's how black people are categorized in America. The point is this. I had to make a video and I had to roast them because they're talking to their 98% white audience, calling her a black bee. And that's why I made the video about you, HodgeTwins, because I was offended by that. And I don't get offended quickly because I love comedy, man, and I'm down to roast. I'm down to have a good time. I make jokes. But when you don't have a black audience and you are putting down black people, you're putting down black people for the benefit of white people. You're putting down black people for the benefit of white people because you don't have black people in your audience. If I make black jokes, like I just did a segment, me and Mrs. Black, we just did a segment where we're talking about some Amazon workers who stole $9 million, $10 million. And we made jokes about a lot of the people that were caught, and I think all of them were black. And I was making jokes about black people like, oh man, disappoint me, making me look bad, blah, blah, blah. And I riffed on the fact that they were all black based on the names. But see, I'm not a sellout. I'm not a sellout and I'm not a coon. So when I'm doing it, I'm talking to black people, and there are some white people that are cool, that are not bigots who watch my show because I talk too much about things like reparations. I talk too much about things like mass incarceration, ending mass incarceration. I talk about things like racial discrimination. I talk about economic disparities. I have professors on my show to discuss these things as well. So I have the license to talk about black people on certain issues because I am pro-black. I'm not anti-white, I'm pro-black, and I'm pro-justice, and I'm pro-liberty for black people who have been treated like second-class citizens in this country since before this country was America. You don't have that leeway. You don't get to talk about black people to white people. You don't get to talk about black people, demeaning a black woman to a white audience and calling her out of her name in that way. You could have criticized her opinion. You could have said you don't agree with her, but you didn't need to call her a bitch. So that's why I made a video where I dumped on you guys. And I also went to your YouTube channel recently when I saw this thing, because I was looking for the story, wasn't looking for you guys. I was looking for the story. When I Googled it, it came up that you dummies did the video about the guy fishing in Georgia. And I left a comment on your YouTube and I said that you guys are a bunch of cowards and I would love to debate you anytime, or name it. Name the time, I'm down to debate you because you guys are horrible. And someone needs to shut you up. You're worse than Jesse Lee Peterson. Worse, in my opinion. And I think you take pride in that. The other thing is this, Mrs. Black, I don't know if you noticed this. Did you notice on the video they had a Ford sponsorship?
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that? You saw he was, so not so many years ago, maybe like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, we reached out to Ford, didn't we?
Yeah, it was Ford.
We reached out to Ford and they didn't want to work with us. And I think it was because what?
The topics of the show?
Topics that I cover on my show. But evidently Ford doesn't have a problem with black people that shit on black people. They've got a problem with black people stands up for black people. That's a problem for them. Yeah, they had no problem with the HodgeTwins. They'll sponsor the HodgeTwins. But when I tried to get a sponsorship with Ford, they wouldn't agree to a sponsorship because they said my content was too controversial. It's not controversial to call black woman a bitch. It's not controversial to say that black people are more prevalent, make more mistakes than white people. That's why we all go to jail. It's not controversial to Ford for them to say, black people think they're all perfect, which is just stupid thing. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Only a moron would say something that fucking sad. That's just stupid. So it's not. So anyway, I just want to call Ford out. I say, good job, Ford, for being a garbage company that would work with these guys. Mrs. Black, anything on that?
I agree. I agree with you. I have nothing else to add. It's just the stupidity is just beyond me.
You see, that's the thing. I don't call it stupidity. I call it sellout. I don't think they're that stupid. They don't know what they're doing. They called that black woman those names because they knew it plays with their audience. They've been doing content as long as I've been doing content, at least 10 years. So they know what they're doing. They're playing to their base. They know what their audience wants. See, unlike them, I can know what my audience wants. I'm gonna give it to them. I'm gonna give you, because I gotta look in the mirror at night, and I got kids, and I got a wife, and unlike some people, I love black people. And I'm not ashamed of being a black man. And I'm not ashamed of being married to a black woman, obviously. There are a lot of people doing a lot of talking who don't have the same credentials. I'm not saying you absolutely positively have to marry a black person, but it would help if you're going to talk shit about black people. Because then they're like a little suspect. I don't know how many white people are talking shit about white people who are not married to white people. I don't know. But I'm just saying, it seems a little weird because we're the people that have been disenfranchised, discriminated against. And then you're going to be knocking those people and then you don't associate yourself with those people. I'm just saying, it just seems a little weird. But to my point, and let's make it clear, I don't care who you marry. I care about what comes out your mouth. I care about what you practice. Okay? So yeah, I'm on one a little bit. I noticed a lot of people have changed their tune. They're not quite as coolish as they used to be. Once upon a time, some people were champion for Klan rallies and talking to the Klan and trying to convert Klan members. The dumbest shit in the world. And the whole world act like they didn't know what I was talking about when I said that sounded like some sellout shit. Because it was. But that's why we're going to do our best to grow this show. And we will find the audience and continue with the great audience that we've been able to build that are still with us and continue to grow with people that are like-minded, people that respect that, people that understand where we're coming from. Right. Because I want to win, but I don't want to win at any cost. And that wouldn't be by any means necessary. Not like these coon-ass HodgeTwins. All right, Mrs. Black, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you got anything, about to wrap this up.
I don't have anything further to add. It's just, they are, again, feeding their base. That's, they're the ones who are like holding their bags. And, in order to get those bags, they've got to do or say whatever it is to appease them. And that's just what it is. It's sad. It's really, unfortunate to hear them say such things about a group of people, like I said, who they are a member of, because they've got that one drop. Yep. And it's just disappointing. But I don't see any, mind shifting because they need to keep that money flowing. Yep. They need to keep that base in there, that money flowing. They got to tell people what those folks want to hear, what makes those folks comfortable living in this society. So I don't expect any changes, any major changes, or like I said, mind shifts on their part.
Well, shout out to, they probably got white wives who probably enjoy what they do.
I don't know.
I don't know if they do or no, but that would make sense. But I want to give Mrs. Black a shout out because she's never leaned on me to soften the content. She want me to soften the language sometimes, Mrs. Black. I'm keeping it buck, but she never was like, no, you can't say, don't be so supportive of black people. Don't talk about these issues. They're going to turn off your audience if you talk about reparations, or you talk about slavery, or you talk about Jim Crow, you talk about lynchings, talk about the Tulsa race massacre. You talk about, no, don't talk about that. Talk to, she's never done that. And it's been 10 years, and she's never tried to armchair quarterback the topics that I cover. Not even now. And she's doing the show with me, and she's still not doing it. Because she's pretty amazing. I got lucky.
An opportunity for folks to learn. I mean, I'm learning in the process. And, again, it's not putting down other cultures or being anti other cultures. It's loving the culture that you're in. I believe black people are truly dope. We are a resilient people who have, come through the history of time from people who were at their lowest, who were owned, who were property, who were raped, who were lynched. Anything that you could think of being in that position that happened to them, it happened. And there was no one there to save them. And through all of that struggle and through all of the pain and being sold away from your family members, out of all of that grief and hurt and harm and death and sweat and tears, we are still here. Yep. There was still hope in each and one of those families that there was going to be a better generation coming after us. My children are going to be educated. My children are going to have more. In order for them to do this, then I need to do this now. I need to be strong, and I need to hold out, love my family, give that love so that it can be carried through generations. And here we are today. So yes, we are a dope culture. We are a dope, resilient culture of people. And I love you. I love us. I love what we've become and what we've achieved. That is to be commended and recognized. It's to be acknowledged. So I'm grateful for who I am. I love who I am. I love my people. But again, loving my people doesn't mean I dislike any other cultures. We are to love one another. That's how we progress and how we grow and how we build and how our next generations are even better than we were. So that's
well
my
said.
take.
Well said, Mrs. Black. Look at you doing your thing. HodgeTwins, I don't love you. I don't love you. You're two cooning, selling out, fetching, stepping, handkerchief head, losing ass. You guys are pathetic morons. You guys are horrible. Tap dancing, Sandman Sims, tap dance, backstabbing, horrible people, and I hope you change your ways. All right, that's it. This is Tim Black and Mrs. Black, and that's it for us. I'll see you on the next one. Remember, you already are members of the Extra Innings. You're already members on Patreon or YouTube. That's how you're seeing this. But tell a friend about the show. Tell them we're here. Number love. We out. We're out of here.
Take good care.
See you next time.
Extra Innings is bonus content from Tim Black's The Black Table. Get the first look at this and other amazing content by becoming a member of the Tim Black community. Go to jointimblack.com, sign up for only $5 a month. We'll see you there. Cut the check.